we're a food brand, and our dream has always been to reach every single mother of a small child across this country. Uh, COVID just presented a moment in time where a lot of consumers shifted to buying online, and hence we were able to reach them online because that was, for a young brand, sort of the cheapest way to reach the consumer. And second, the infrastructure got built, right? Whether it is third-party warehousing, last-mile delivery, all of these startups which have grown into unicorns, quite frankly, really helped have helped small brands like mine to reach the consumer, from marketing to them to getting them the product. Pre-pandemic, we were a 50-50 online-offline brand, which meant 50% of our sales was through e-commerce platforms, and 50% of our sales was through traditional, your retail stores. We are now 6 times the size that we were pre-pandemic, and 90% of that has come through online. So whether it is e-commerce channels or our own D2C channel, which frankly was not a big part of the business before the pandemic, that's now 25% of our overall sales. And that's just a function of us deciding as a strategy to focus on building that out as a way to reach the consumer, to connect with them, to really, it gives you an opportunity like nothing ever before has, right? In a store, it's not possible to really understand your consumer, who's bought it, what have they liked about it, what have they not. With D2C, you actually have that ability to reach out to your consumer, to figure out what worked, what hasn't worked. The proof also is in the pudding, quite literally, right? How many times has that person rebought from you? All of those metrics, you can see very clearly through the D2C channel, through your D2C channel. Whether you are omni-channel or single channel, as the business scales and grows, supply chain is always going to be a challenge. The idea, is to be able to predict as best you can, which is, I would say, part art, part science. And be able to preemptively, especially in food, right, where there's an expiry date on the product, know which during which season, which region is going to buy more of which SKU, and so on and so forth. So really, we've learned as we've grown, and I think every data point helps us get better and better, to be better and better predictors of that. COVID itself just was the lockdowns, food companies could keep producing, but you had other bottlenecks come up, like, for example, packaging material, those suppliers were shut down for a while. So actually we ran out of packaging material. We started using packaging material that was printed for another market, the UAE, for our India market too, so that we could continue to supply to consumers. So I think, you kind of had to shift and think on your feet to solve problems as they came up. But really, over the past year, right, we've, like I said earlier, we've grown almost 6x, and, being able to predict that is really, really hard. So we're a trend, but I genuinely think D2C is an opportunity to really, 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 really understand your consumer, right? So it would be a shame to miss that. I think for anybody starting a D2C business, that is your secret superpower, sauce, whatever you want to call it. So never lose sight of that. Very often we get so excited in the product making process that we forget who we're making it for. So to make sure that your consumer really loves what you're making, and listen as best you can. I think the second piece is, just reaching the consumer has never been, while building a brand is really easy, I'd say, in the sense of launching a brand is really easy. Building it has become harder, right? Because there's a lot of competition for people's brain space, right? We're all sort of living in boxes on our phones and Zoom calls and this thing. So just reaching the consumer has never been reaching and staying in the consumer's mind has never been harder. So I think thinking about where are you going to get your alpha from and what does that mean for your consumer is going to be important for D2C brands.